Welcome back into Wave 3 Listens Live. I'm Michael Vanover, filling in for John all week long, and we appreciate you being with us. Joining me first is attorney Jim Desmond. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Michael, thank you. It's good to be back.
Thanks for being here. Okay, so you work in personal injury.
Right.
You focus on, and we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, you focus on car accidents, motorcycle wrecks, things like that.
That's all I do. I won't touch anything
that's
else.
what you do. There's obviously a lot of attorneys in town, and people know a lot of attorneys. You know, maybe it's their cousin, their aunt, their friend, whatever, their neighbor. Or they're looking at these big firms that are advertising all these different messages. It's just a lot of noise in the market. How are you able to decipher as a potential client who to call?
Well, I mean, isn't that one of the problems with the market in general? Okay, right now during this program, you probably have 5 or 6 attorneys advertising for car wrecks. And we deal with everything from silly slogans to silly nicknames to, you know, now bigger is better is what they try to say. Well, bigger than what? I mean, you know, I know attorneys who have bigger offices than I do, but I don't charge the same fees that they do, okay? How do you decipher between the attorneys? I think that's one of the biggest things lacking in the personal injury field is, again, that most people, I don't think, your TV advertisers, which I do now too, so maybe I'm insulting myself, but they advertise, oh, I'm going to get you a check. Well, you know, that's really not what I think most people are interested in. Most people understand if you've been in a car wreck, you're already suffering damages, okay? You've got a damaged car, maybe lost wages, medical bills, that type of thing. So the bigger issue is getting you back to where you need to be. And a lot of these attorneys, the firms, I'm sorry, when we advertise sometimes to get a response, you know, I'll get you a check, but that really is not the issue. The issue really is most of my clients, to come back to what you're saying, I'm sorry, they want somebody who's going to shoot straight with them and say, this is what we can do, because attorneys are not wizards, but we do know the law, and we know what we can do within that law to try to maximize their recovery.
Well, I think one thing that you pride yourself on, from what I've heard you say in previous interviews, is transparency with your clients. Mm-hmm. You know, you want them to know where they stand, what process
right.
of their case, where things are. Talk about why it's important for you to give out your cell phone number. The number you see on your screen right now is Jim's cell phone. Why is that important, and especially when you're comparing yourself, as you were earlier, to some of the bigger firms?
Well, because again, clients need to understand what's going on. You know, one of the biggest things I try to do in the beginning when I sit down with them is lay out the process. Then you try to update them a little bit with what the game plan is. My dad used to say, you always set your goals high because you're going to be knocked down a peg or two. So clients understand something's not going to go right. A check's not going to arrive in time. The car is not going to get fixed properly, whatever it might be. But again, they need to trust you. Well, how can they trust you if they don't know who you are? You know, I think it's hilarious these days because insurance companies now call me. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't mean to call you on your cell phone. I'm like, it's the only number I've got. It's the only number I want you to call me on. And then also they'll be like, well, is there a case manager to handle it? I'm like, no, I handle it myself. I want to know what's going on. What do you need? I don't want to hear it, you know, on a secondhand basis. Again, if somebody's gone through a car wreck, you're dealing with something you, God willing, deal with once, twice, maybe 3 times in your life. So you need that direct advice to basically say, hey, this is how I can do something to help you, whether it's to get the car fixed, deal with the lost wages, or the pain and suffering.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more. So again, you just do car wrecks.
Correct.
It's one of those things, you don't go to your car mechanic to have surgery on your back. I mean,
right.
This is something that if you're in a car accident, you are the guy to call. But you do more than just help them with the case. You touched on it a second ago. Dive into that a little bit more. Do you really help them with like body shop work? I mean,
yeah,
you kind of handhold them?
Sure.
What's that process
if
look
a case
like?
is, okay. I won't charge a fee off anything dealing with the car. I'm not going to charge a fee off what I call a loss of use claim, which is kind of an extended rental car claim, or the car itself. Because think about it, if you had a Pontiac worth $5,000 and I charge you 1/3 off of it, you're already in the hole, okay? If the car accident goes smoothly, if you got clear liability, you got a good adjuster, you got a good body shop manager that can fix the car, and they offer you a fair value of the car, your attorney may not need to step in. But a lot of these attorneys now say, we're not going to handle the car wreck portion. That's crazy. I tell my clients, look, I will let this go on the side, but if they need anything, call me. If I have to do letters on it, I'm not going to charge a fee off it. A friend of mine was in a motorcycle accident, and it was only a property damage claim. And so the short story is it took us 4 or 5 months, but I've got a pretty good loss of use check because he didn't get to use his motorcycle for 6 months. I didn't charge him a fee off that. I told him again, he said, what do you owe me? I said, Google review. Give out my name, Facebook. Well, and I do that because,
right,
again, for me, that's most beneficial because, again, I think people want to be able to get hold of you directly. And also, how do they know versus the next guy? And I've had a lot of people look at my Google reviews and say, you've got a lot of good, you know, 5-star reviews. And that, to me, is more valuable. But, yeah, property damage, any good attorney who does a car wreck case should be willing to step in, handle that, help facilitate whatever it needs to be. All right, you can ask me something about a crazy story, but I went down to Shepherdsville recently to get the title to a car to get it moving faster. Okay, did I mind doing it? Would I normally do it? No, I wouldn't normally do it. Did I mind doing it? No. I have a convertible, I dropped the top, turned my cell phone off for 30 minutes, cheated, and had fun. But it is, again, something that we did a little bit unusual. But again, my client's without a car, and he's in an area where he can't get around with Uber or Lyft. So you got to go.
You did what you had to do, and that's
Sure,
part of what you do.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about fees and whether you don't charge them for certain things, whatever. But your fee as a whole, and tell me if I'm wrong, it is lower than what a lot of these other guys are charging. Is that correct?
That's correct now. It used to not be the case. When I came out, I started with a large law firm, and then I went on my own. And I always charge 1/3 of what I recover pre-litigation. It's called contingency fee. Okay, so if I recover 0, then they don't owe me anything. Okay, the bar always requires us to tell them, the clients, that case expenses are their responsibility, but they're usually pretty small. Okay, but the short story is, yeah, a lot of these larger firms have gone to this 40% right off the bat, which I think is too high in car wrecks. Last time I was here with John, I was saying the same thing. In a car wreck case, 90% of them settle pre-litigation. So why would you pay a 40% fee right off the bat? You want the client to get the lion's share, and that's how it should be. And what clients don't understand is they say, okay, I'm going to hire this attorney, and if I'm going to pay a 40% fee, and I've got unpaid medical bills, and I've got a health insurance lien to deal with, again, my percentage, those percentages more correctly, continue to add up, where a client may not be getting the 50% or more from his settlement. And that's something you got to watch out for. So as a consumer, the first thing people should say is, what's your fee? And understand it's not set in stone. I can charge, I do charge the 1/3. Some of the big firms charge the 40%, but it's not set in stone. It's not, there's no rule requiring us to say, this is how much we have to charge.
So you give out your cell phone, you save people money on the fee, it seems like, and you handhold them through the process. Heck, you even drive to Shepherdsville to give a title.
Well, I've had good luck, but my clients have done me real well. I mean,
right.
I've been, my own practice, I think I'm 16 or 17 years now, and I have a lot of repeat business, and a lot of my clients have given out my name to other people and everything. So it takes some, I always say I don't own the business, it owns me, but in the same respect, my clients make it worthwhile. They're very good people.
Now, Jim, real quick, before we let you go, if somebody's at home right now and they're thinking, they were just in an accident or they know somebody that was, what's that initial call like? Is there any fee? Is there anything up front?
No. Okay. Get me on the phone directly. You're going to deal with me. You might get me when I'm driving home from this or hear dogs in the background. But no, it's a 10 or 15-minute phone call. It's saying, hey, I'm asking a lot of questions about the car wreck. There's no fee off of it. I try to guide people. I try to tell them what I think I can do for them. Maybe I'll try to say, let's get the police report. And when I first meet with them, it's very similar. It's going through a lot of that stuff in more detail. And again, there's no fee for a first meeting because, again, you get to the end of it and somebody says, hey, Desmond, I just really don't feel like we're comfortable. No worries. Let's give them some good advice and send them on their way.
Well, Jim, Desmond, appreciate you being here.
Always
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The phone number on your screen right there, 609-7657 is his cell. AttorneyDesmond.com is the website.